Hello and welcome. What is what if there was a way to plan your business activities that match the fluidity of your business and keep you on track with your vision? That's what a rolling 90-day traction plan does. And today I want to walk through exactly how to build one. So, hi, I'm Heather Cameron, and I work with entrepreneurs and women entrepreneurs to grow your business your own way. There's so many people telling you what to do out there, and I want to support you in growing your business your own way. One of the best ways to do that is through a 90 day. Whoops. Sorry. I've got it on to make sure I go live, and my phone was talking to me. So, one of the best ways to do that is through a 90-day traction plan or a rolling 90-day traction plan. I want to talk about what it is. What's a rolling 90-day traction plan? I want to give you the 4 steps that you can use to implement it, and then how to keep it alive and growing. And that's really what a 90-day traction plan is. It's a live growing plan. So one of the biggest things I see that happens, particularly this time of year, is people enter a new year, they create this great plan, they get busy in their business and running the day to day, and they don't look at it again either. Maybe they look at it once a quarter, maybe they don't look at it again, and they start going off track, or things start to happen in their business that pull them in a different direction, and all of a sudden we're halfway through the year or we're at the end of the year, and things didn't unfold the way that you wanted to unfold. You may or may have not gotten the results you want, but you're not going back to your plan, and you're not doing a reset. And I see that a lot. And I see that there's such a drive in my industry of coaching to do your plans, start in December, get your January plans in place, and then get going. And you never have the ability to look at your plan and rethink about it, or you're not setting yourself up for success. I was part of a program a couple of years ago where they did do a get together once a quarter to review your plans, which was great, but it was very focused on the quarter and not on the livingness of our business. So a rolling day plan is really intended to focus on the fact that our businesses are kind of living, breathing entities, and we need to check in with it. So I want to give you the 4 steps first, and then I want to talk about how you keep yourself on track for this. So the first step is connecting with your aspirational goals. And there's a difference between action goals and aspiration goals. So aspiration goals are the things that we want. They're the wishes that we have for our business. So, I want to make X amount of dollars every month. That's an aspirational goal. If we don't do anything, it's unlikely that we're going to hit that goal. Maybe I want to launch a new program, or I want to launch a podcast, or I want to be, partnering with somebody to launch a different business. All of these things are aspirational goals, and we need our aspirational goals. We need our vision. They can be impact goals. I want to help. I used to work with a coach who had an impact goal of, I want to help, I think it was 1,000 women grow businesses, or whatever the number was. I want to help X amount of women grow and be successful and have 6-figure businesses. That's an aspirational goal. It's a great goal. It's an impact goal. I want to help kids graduate school with less stress. I want to help children be confident. I want to help something. Those are aspirational goals. I want to make so much money in my business. I want to be able to retire my business in 5 years. They are all great goals, and we need to have aspirational goals to be successful. So we want to connect with them. And it's a great exercise to write down those goals. Think of yourself. It's a year from now. What do you want to have achieved? If it's 5 years from now, we've all heard the 5-year plan. They help to have them. So the first step is really actually connecting with your aspirational goals. What do you want for your business? And recognize what they are. There's a great narrative online for coaching business about these 10K months. If that's your aspirational goal, great. But if your aspirational goal, and you're just in your business now, is 2K months, fantastic. If it's 20K months, fantastic. But write those down and have a dollar aspirational goal. It helps us. We are in business to make money, to serve our clients. So it's important to have that. So write down all your aspirational goals, all the dreams that you have for your vision, for your business. What is your vision for your business? And these exercises don't have to take a huge amount of time. Sometimes they're great exercises to kind of say, I'm going to do this week. I'm going to write down all my aspirational goals this week, and I'm going to let them come and percolate and grow. And maybe I know for me, sometimes I have the best thoughts in the middle of the night or when I'm having a shower. So writing those down and capturing them and paring it down to a set of aspirational goals that you want for your business. And then what are the aspirational goals? What are the goals that you're trying to achieve in the next 3 months? And your rolling 90-day plan can start on any day of the week, any day of the month. It does not need to be a quarter plan. That's the beauty of this. It can start at any time. So think about what your rolling plan is and use that to put that together. So that's number one. What are your aspirational goals? Number two is set your action goals. And your action goals are the things that you are actually going to do. Because if we don't do the actions, it's almost impossible to get at the aspirational goals. So an action goal might be, I'm going to launch a podcast this month, this quarter, these next 3 months. I'm going to launch a podcast. I am going to book myself on 5 podcasts. I am going to, I'm trying to think of ones that come, start or prepare for my own. I'm going to prepare for our June summit. That's an action goal. Think about what they are. I'm going to look for opportunities to partner with someone to put out a new program. I am going to launch my new program. These are action goals. These are things that you actually are going to do. And when you have those action goals, I am going to go to 20 networking events. I am going to start my own networking event, right? Whatever they are, they're action-based goals or things that you have control over. Aspirational goals, we don't have control over that outcome until we actually get into the actions, and we rinse and repeat until we meet those aspirational goals. So step 2 is set your action goals. What are those actions that you actually want to do? I'm going to launch and sell a new program in the next 2 months. I am going to book 5 one-on-one slots. I am going to get 5 speaking engagements, right? All of those are action goals. We're going to book them. And so putting them in place really helps to define what you're going to do in your plan. Step number 3 is taking those action goals and creating monthly milestones. So if I pull out one of these and I say, I'm just looking over here to see the ones that I have. If I say that I am going to launch and sell a new program in the next 3 months, and I'm starting that just because it is the end of January, I'm going to start that in February. So what do I need to do each month to do that? What are my milestones? So my milestone might be to prepare the marketing material. My milestone is to define actually how I'm going to create my funnel, how I'm going to sell this. I'm going to put a date that I'm going to sell it in the next 2 months. So therefore, by the end of March, I'm going to have a sales window. So I'm going to put my sales window, and then, well, maybe I'm selling it by a webinar. So I'm going to put the webinar date in my calendar. I'm going to put my promotional dates in my calendar to bring people onto the webinar and then sell it. And then I'm going to put in my, when am I going to start talking about this in my calendar? And that starts to develop your monthly milestones. If you want to book yourself for 5 speaking engagements or 5 podcasts, what do you need to do? Well, you need to prepare your message. It's sometimes called a one sheet. But basically, you're going to talk about, well, what titles do I want to have? What am I going to speak about? What's my expertise? I need a mini bio so that I can give them to the podcast person. I need to list all the podcasts that I might want to get on. I need to create, or at least have a funnel, a freebie or something that I'm going to offer that matches my topic so that I can funnel people into my world. And then I'm going to start writing emails and sending emails out or reaching out to X amount of podcasters. Then I'm going to figure out how I'm going to promote it. See what I mean? You're breaking it down into the actions that you can do. And we all need to have, 90% of us are not just working on one thing at a time, right? So what are those actions? And some of them can be just to maintain your current clients, right? And that's a big action. I run a membership with a partner. So we have actions every single month that we need to do to maintain that membership when we're not growing it. But we have a goal, an action goal. We have an aspirational goal for the next, I think it's March. We're doing this in March to grow and to grow our membership. What are our actions? Well, we have to figure out what event we're doing, how we're going to do it, what emails, how we're going to welcome them in, right? And so understand those differences. And as you go through the process, you're going to have some goals. You're going to put them into your action goals. And then setting that monthly milestones again. So if we're doing our event that we run 3 times a year, we're going to do it on March 16th. Well, we have to know March 16th is a milestone. It's a 4-day event. After that, we sell for 4 days. So those are 2 milestones that are going firmly into our calendar for March. And now it's about working out what we're doing between now and March to make that happen so that we're not doing it at the last minute. And so that's about creating your monthly milestones. Step number 4 is defining your weekly actions. And you're going to be more dense in the first month, and they are going to be in the third month, but you're still going to have some ideas of where things fit in. So, for example, using the one where we are running and launching and opening our membership in March, what are the weekly actions that we need to do between now and March? And as we map back the milestones, we have to start promoting that event at the beginning of March, which means in February, we need to write the promotional content. We need to update the websites. We need to make sure that all our sales messages are aligned. We also need to brainstorm what our offer is at the end of that. I mean, it's opening our membership, but what are we going to do differently? We need to brainstorm the content of our event. So it's an event that we've run that's very successful. We have over 1,000 people register for it every time. Which is a crazy number. They don't all show up, but we have several thousand people who register for it. Some of the things that we need to do this month, like at the beginning of February, is brainstorm any changes we're going to do. Think about how we're going to up what people are doing. What are our themes and how are we changing it for this particular run of it? We're not changing the whole thing, but we are changing certain things. What have we learned? So that's part of the brainstorming actions that we need to do in the first week of February. We need to prepare our emails, get them written, schedule them out, and so that when we are in the promotion phase, we don't have to do a lot. And that's an example of defining your weekly actions for a very concrete milestone that we have. And so your 4-step action plan or your 4-step 90-day rolling plan is exactly that. It's connecting with your aspirational goals. It's setting your action goals. What are the things that you actually have to do? It's setting your monthly milestones by putting those action goals in places, and it's defining your weekly actions. And so I talked about what we're doing in the February, March timeframe, but in this particular example, I have two businesses or two sides of my business. I am a strategist, a client attraction strategist, helping you grow your business. But I also partner with a friend of mine, and we run an online summit and membership in the crafting space. And so we have our summit coming up in 4 months. 5 months, 4 months, 4 months in the beginning of June, which means most of the work is in May. So it's not part of my 90-day view, but I know there are things that I need to do in this 90 days so that we are not like slammed against the wall. And in fact, yesterday we actually sat and we put in our milestones in our calendar. We put in the meetings that we need to attend, that we need to create. So they're in our calendars and we're reserving it. We're also looking at what do we need to do in February, March, so that we're communicating to our speakers. We are getting some of our marketing material. We're getting our sponsors in. So there are things that we need to do now to have a successful summit in June. And so that's the value of having that kind of looking forward plan and doing that. So that's what your 4 steps are to create your 90-day rolling traction plan. It is hugely powerful. I have been teaching 90-day plans for a very long time, and they really do work. And the 90-day rolling plan is the best thing that you can do, because just creating a quarterly plan tends to put you in just the quarterly bubble, number one. And number two, you can end up not revisiting it. You write the plan, then you get busy, and then you come and do it another quarter and you write the plan and you get busy. So a rolling plan, the real trick to a rolling plan is that you have a monthly meeting with yourself. You can start your plan anytime you want. So your monthly meeting can be anytime, within that. At the end of the first month is you set yourself up with a monthly meeting. And I have been doing this for a very long time, and it works when you give yourself the gift of this. So you book an appointment with yourself, book an appointment with as the CEO, and you look at what's going on in the last month. So you take your plan that you created, your 90-day plan that you created when you started, and you look at it and you go, okay, I got all my actions done. Oh, maybe I didn't. Something slipped. Something came up that was unexpected. So you do a mini review, and then you plump on the next month. So let's say your plan was February, March, April. So that's the first plan. So you get to March, and now you want to do it and look at your plan and go, okay, here's what's going on. Here's my aspirational goals. Here's the things that might have changed. Here's the actions I've achieved. Here's the things that slipped. And you're going to tack on the next month. So you started with February, March, April. Well, now you're going to do March, April, May. And by doing this, you are always forwardly looking, and you're always getting on top of things as things change. It doesn't mean that you change your plan. And I want to put that very very strict, not strictly, I want to put that out there. We don't want to be reinventing the plan. We want to be complementing it. We want to be able to handle the fluidity that happens in business. Maybe you didn't get some of the podcast applications that you wanted to do in your first month. Maybe that just didn't happen. Maybe you didn't get any responses. So now is the time to go, okay, I applied for 5 podcasts and I didn't get the response I thought. So what am I doing wrong? What am I not getting? Maybe I need to change or tweak my podcast proposal. Maybe I need to broaden my horizons. What are you going to do if you didn't, hit the action goal that you had in the current month? Or let's say you said, okay, I'm going to write up my one sheet. I'm going to get everything ready. I'm going to apply for podcasts, and you sent them out there and you wanted to apply for 5 and you got accepted to 8. Okay, great. Now what am I going to do with that? I have 8 podcasts that I'm now accepted to. I need to find out when those podcasts are going to be released so that I can adjust my schedule so I can promote them and take the biggest advantage of them. And having that rolling day plan can really help you do that. And I just want to, my purpose for this and really putting it out there, because I do this with my clients often, is that if we don't do this, and this happens so much, we write that yearly plan, we get into our work, we start going, and we come back to it a year later and we haven't hit our milestones. Maybe we've hit more, maybe we've hit less, but we're not in control of directing our business the way that we want it to go. And by revisiting once a month, you have that. If you're just doing quarterly planning, that is great. You're like one step ahead of many people who don't do that. But doing that quarterly planning still puts you in a box, right? You're looking at those 3 months and you're not anticipating, number one, correcting things when things don't work out the way that you want. But you're also not anticipating the fluidity of business and being able to go, okay, I wanted to do this month. I didn't necessarily achieve everything, or maybe I exceeded everything. So now it's time to plan out the next 3 months. What's coming down my pipeline? What do I have out there? What is the things that I want to do? And I just want to put in there, this does not eliminate having a vision for your business that's a yearly vision. It doesn't eliminate that. It supports it. And that's why I love rolling day 90-day plans, because it supports what you're doing. It focuses on the fact that things change. We don't always do what we say we're going to do. Sometimes we get better results than we anticipated. Sometimes we get worse results than we anticipated. But when we're doing it and we're giving ourselves the gift of a review once a month, looking at the next 2 months, tacking on the 3rd month, and doing that, you don't need to do quarterly planning because you are doing planning every single month. And it's good to stop once every, even once every 6 months, to stop and go, okay, am I still on track? But if you ask that question at the beginning of every month, you don't even need to do that. And it relieves this pressure of having to have everything planned on January 1st, which I'm sorry to say my industry puts in place. My industry really focuses people to want to have everything planned on January 1st, and you don't need to do that. You need to plan the day that you want to plan. And, if you look at major corporations out there, most of them don't have an annual day of January 1st because of that, because it's just this extra pressure that happens around that time. And so think about doing a 90-day rolling plan. Start today. Start today. I mean, it just happens that February 1st is coming up, so you can use that as your start point. But hey, if you like the number 15, start on the 15th of the month. It doesn't matter. It's just about, like I said, step number 1, connect with your aspirational goals. What are the things that you want to have in your business? What do you want to make money-wise? What impact do you want to have? How do you want your business to grow? What do you want to change? What do you want to add? What do you want to get rid of? All of that comes into those aspirational goals. Then set your action goals that are going to help you achieve those aspirational goals, right? If you have an aspirational goal of making $8,000 a month, what do you need to do to make those $8,000 a month? Because it's not going to come if we don't do anything as business owners, right? If you have an aspirational goal of reaching out and helping 100 people in whatever, how are you going to bring those 100 people into your business, and how are you going to make money? And we have to normalize. We are in business to make money. That is the core part of a business. And that's why one of your aspirational goals should always have a financial component, but you can have an impact component. You might have an aspirational goal that's to, like I said, book 5 podcasts. You might have an aspirational goal to post on social media every week on a YouTube video. It's an aspirational goal because if we don't do it, we're not going to get there, right? And promotion in that is part of your aspirational goals. Then step number 2, break them down into your action goals and know what they are, what actions you need to take. Step number 3 is set your monthly milestones. What are the milestones that you are going to achieve to get to those actions? So the example I gave of opening our membership, we are going to run an event. We know when that's going to be. We know when we're going to be opening our membership. And then that starts to fill in the preparation actions that we need to do. And that defines step number 4, which is what are your weekly actions? They're going to be more detailed for the current month and less detailed for the third month, but you're going to know what they are. And you know what? It also helps when you do this. It stops you from working on something that might be a little bit more exciting and fun at the stops you from working on something that might be more exciting and fun when really you don't need to work on it until month 3. So it gives places a home so they don't pull you away from the things that really matter right now. So I encourage you, if you want to know more about monthly rolling plans, just reach out to me and I will help you if you're interested in working with me to put together a monthly rolling plan. I'm around for that as well. And if you just want to join me, I do a thing called the Be Stir Bite once a week, Monday at 11 o'clock Eastern. And it's a place to come together for women entrepreneurs to just kind of set the intention of what you're going to do that week, which then leads into this whole 90-day plan. If you have a plan, what is it that you need to do this week? And it's that kind of step number 5, which is, reviewing your weekly action items and understanding, am I still on track? It's so easy to get off track these days. And so doing this can really help you stay on track. So thank you very much. Let me know if you, delve into 90-day planning, if you go into that rolling plan. And my last note on this, which I didn't talk about, this does not have to be complicated. Choose the method that works best for you. I'm a paper person. I do believe that writing something down really helps me retain it. And so I write down my plans. I write down a monthly plan. I have a quarterly plan. It is just one piece of paper. My 3-month plan, my 90-day plan is just one piece of paper. And then I have a monthly plan, which is one piece of paper. And then I break that into weekly action items. It doesn't need to be complicated. I use a particular format of a planner that I like. You can do this in a spreadsheet. You can get more sophisticated and use some of the applications that are online that help you do this. Pick the method that works for you. It's not about where it's stored. It's about the exercise of going through it and defining these things. Pick what works for you and use that. For me, it is a paper planner. And I actually do like 1-sheet calendars. When I'm really geared into this, I will do like a 1-month calendar and I map out what it is, but I still do it physically writing because that's what works for me. So what works for you, use that. And I've had a client recently ask me, what's the best way to do this? And the answer is always going to be what works for you, because we all think and we all learn differently. What is your best way of setting yourself up for success? And that would be the method that I would recommend for you to create your 90-day plan. However, the questions that go into your 90-day plan are irrelevant of the method to which you store it. Any of the questions are going to be the same. So think about what's best for you. Don't try to find somebody else's system of how you want to track this. Develop the system that works best for you personally, because you are going to use a different system than I am, potentially. But if you like paper, and that works for you, great. If you want to use something like, I'm trying to think of what's out there now. There's so many things. An Excel spreadsheet, a calendar on Google Calendar, whatever is your way of doing things. So thank you for listening. I love this. I love 90-day plans. I love 90-day rolling plans. I've been talking about them for years. So if you want more information about it or you want to talk about it, let me know. I will be back next week with another new topic. I'm going to delve into something that's really on a lot of people's minds, which is how to work with AI so you don't lose your voice. And that's what I'll be talking about over the next couple of weeks. But thank you so much. Have an amazing day. Thanks.